My girlfriend said, "Delete that photo of us. I don't want my ex to see it." I replied, "No problem." Then I uploaded a new one of me, her ex's ex, and the engagement ring. When she opened Instagram and saw 5,000 likes in 10 minutes. Do you ever have one of those moments where your entire perception of someone shifts in an instant? Like you're looking at a magic eye picture, seeing one thing, then suddenly, pop, it's something completely different? That was me 3 months ago, standing in my girlfriend Tasha's kitchen, watching her frantically delete my Instagram post from her phone. Let me back up. Tasha, 26F NIM, had been dating for almost 2 years. We met through a local running group, both training for our first half marathon. She was funny, ambitious, loved documentaries, and made incredible tacos. I was smitten pretty quickly. We'd been living together for about 8 months in Minneapolis when this all went down. Our relationship had been solid. Sure, we had the occasional disagreement about household chores or which Netflix show to binge, but nothing major. The only real point of friction was her ex, Kevin. Kevin and Tasha had dated for 3 years during college and 1 year after, breaking up about 6 months before I met her when he moved to Seattle in January 2021. I met Tasha in July 2021, and Kevin had moved back to Minneapolis in December 2022, 5 months before the lake house incident in May 2023. College sweethearts who stayed together post-graduation until Kevin took a job in Seattle, and they decided long distance wasn't for them. At least, that was the official story. In reality, from what I'd gathered from mutual friends and Tasha's occasional wine-induced confessions, Kevin had been pretty controlling, isolating her from friends and family. Classic emotional manipulation stuff. The Seattle job offer had given her the perfect excuse to end things. All this would be ancient history, except that Kevin had moved back to Minneapolis about 6 months into our relationship. Since then, I'd noticed a pattern. Whenever we were at events where Kevin might be present, Tasha would act differently, checking her appearance more, laughing a little too loudly at my jokes, being extra affectionate. At first, I thought she was just trying to show him she'd moved on. Fine, understandable. But then came the social media scrubbing. Photos of us that she'd enthusiastically posted would mysteriously disappear from her Instagram after Kevin started following her again. Our relationship status on Facebook? Hidden. When I asked her about it, she'd say things like, "I'm just trying to be more private online," or "I don't want him stalking my profile and getting upset." I tried to be understanding. After all, emotional abuse leaves scars, and maybe she was still working through some trauma. But a nagging voice in the back of my head wondered if there was something more to it. Fast forward to Memorial Day weekend. We'd gone up to my parents' cabin on Lake Vermilion with some friends, including my college buddy Sam and his new girlfriend Emma. It was one of those perfect Minnesota May weekends. Sunny but not too hot, the lake still a bit cold but swimmable if you were brave. I snapped a photo of Tasha, Emma, and me on the dock, sun setting behind us, all of us laughing because Sam had just fallen in trying to show off his non-existent wakeboarding skills. It was a great shot, one of those candid moments you can't stage. I posted it on Instagram with the caption, "Lake life with the best people," at Tasha M, at Emma.kwalker, at Samthaman, who's currently drying off. We drove back to the city Sunday night. Monday morning, I woke up to Tasha frantically scrolling on her phone next to me in bed. "You need to delete that photo from yesterday," she said without looking up. "What? Why?" "It's a great pic," I replied, still half asleep. Kevin commented on it. I reached for my own phone. Sure enough, Kevin had left a comment. "Looks amazing. That cabin is straight out of a magazine. Hope you all had fun." Innocent enough, but I could tell from Tasha's expression that she was freaking out. "So what? It's just a comment," I said. "Please, Josh, I don't want him seeing us together like that. It's complicated." Her voice had that tight quality it got whenever Kevin came up. "Why does it matter what he sees? You guys broke up years ago." She sighed dramatically. "You don't understand what he's like. He'll analyze everything, who I'm with, what I'm wearing, where we are, then he'll find some way to use it against me. Please just delete it." Something in me snapped. Not in an angry way, but in that moment, the magic eyes shifted. I wasn't looking at someone who was afraid of an ex's reaction. I was looking at someone who still cared deeply about what that ex thought of her. No problem, I said casually. I'll delete it. She visibly relaxed. Thank you, I'm gonna take a shower. As the bathroom door closed, I sat on the edge of the bed, suddenly seeing our entire relationship in a new light. The strategic social media management, the performative affection when he might be around, the way she'd bring him up randomly, just to mention how much better I was, which I'd thought was reassuring, but now seemed like she was keeping him in the conversation. On impulse, I texted Emma, who I'd gotten to know over the weekend. Like many of us, we'd exchanged numbers for coordinating activities at the cabin. Sam and Emma had seemed more like friends than a couple, with none of the typical new relationship PDA, which made sense given what I'd later learn. Random question. Kevin Mercer from Seattle, tech guy with a Viking tattoo on his forearm. Ever dated him? Her reply came quickly. Don't tell me you know Kevin the creep. Worst 3 months of my life. Why? I called her immediately. Long story short, Emma had dated Kevin briefly in Seattle, right after he moved there. They'd met on a hiking meetup, dated for about 3 months, then she'd broken it off because of his possessive, jealous behavior. Apparently, he had a whole routine. Love bombing, followed by subtle control tactics, followed by emotional manipulation. Classic narcissistic playbook. But the most interesting part? Kevin hadn't taken a dream job in Seattle. He'd been let go from his Minneapolis position for workplace harassment and had moved to Seattle because it was the only offer he could get. And his return to Minneapolis? Not for a better opportunity, but because he'd been asked to leave the Seattle company too. He was currently consulting, aka unemployed, and living with his parents. His LinkedIn profile claimed he was a technology consultant, but Emma confirmed what mutual friends had hinted at. He'd been let go from both positions for inappropriate workplace behavior. He was subsisting on a small inheritance while pretending to run a consulting business. The timeline suddenly made sense. Tasha hadn't broken up with him over the distance. She'd likely used his move as a convenient excuse, unable to break free from his manipulation otherwise. And now that he was back, those old patterns of behavior were resurfacing. As I sat there processing this, another text from Emma came through. Sorry if that was oversharing. I just really hate that guy. He tried to isolate me from all my friends, made me delete pics with my ex from before I even knew Kevin. When I refused, he went through my phone while I was sleeping and deleted them himself. Total psycho. That hit home. The photo deletion wasn't about fear. It was about a pattern of behavior Tasha had never broken free from. Kevin still had his hooks in her, even if they weren't technically together. I made a decision then that I'm still not sure was the right one, but it felt necessary at the time. I would give Tasha one chance to be honest with me, and then I'd decide what to do. When she emerged from the shower, I asked her point blank, "What's really going on with Kevin?" She feigned confusion. "What do you mean?" "I mean, why do you really care if he sees photos of us together? And don't say it's because you're afraid of him, because your actions don't match that." What followed was a masterclass in denial, deflection, and gaslighting. I was being paranoid. I didn't understand their history. I was the one with jealousy issues. When none of that worked, she switched to tears, telling me that I was being cruel bringing up her past trauma. But I'd done my homework now. So, did he get fired from his Minneapolis job for harassment, or was that just a rumor? Her eyes widened. "Who told you that? Does it matter? Is it true?" She deflated a little. "It wasn't exactly harassment. He just had a disagreement with his female manager." "And Seattle? Another disagreement?" She looked away. "Who have you been talking to?" "Emma dated him in Seattle." The color drained from her face. "Emma from the lake? Sam's Emma? That's not possible." "It's a small world after all," I sang, not feeling particularly musical. "So one more time, what's really going on with Kevin?" Finally, haltingly, the truth came out. She and Kevin had never fully broken up. They'd been on a break while he was in Seattle, occasionally still talking, still texting. When he moved back, they'd reconnected for coffee that turned into dinner, that turned into spending the night at his parents' house. This had been going on for the last 5 months. 5 months. "It's not what you think," she insisted. "We're not back together. We're just exploring our options." "And where do I fit into these options?" I asked, feeling surprisingly calm given the circumstances. I love you, she said, tears flowing freely now. But Kevin and I have so much history, I need to be sure before I fully commit to anyone. Ah, there it was. I was the backup plan, the safety net, the sensible choice if the exciting, volatile one didn't work out. I didn't yell, I didn't throw things. I simply nodded, went to our bedroom, and started packing a bag. What are you doing? She asked from the doorway. Exploring my options, I replied. I stayed with Sam that night, explaining everything. He was appropriately outraged on my behalf, offering his couch for as long as I needed. Emma was there too, and the three of us stayed up late, sharing Kevin horror stories and drinking perhaps a bit too much whiskey. I was concerned about how Sam would feel about Emma and me spending time together, but he was surprisingly supportive. As he put it, Emma and I went on like 3 dates. We're better as friends anyway. It turned out they'd already had the just friends conversation before the lake trip, which explained why they seemed so comfortable rather than romantically awkward around each other. The next morning, nursing a hangover but feeling oddly liberated, I opened Instagram. Tasha had, as promised, deleted my lake photo from my profile. Like many couples, we had each other's passwords for convenience. We'd occasionally post on behalf of each other or help with account issues. It was an unspoken rule, though, that we'd ask before making any changes. Her deleting my photo without permission wasn't just about the photo. It was a breach of trust on multiple levels. I changed my password immediately, then spent some time scrolling through Emma's profile. She was an amateur photographer transitioning to professional work, with a great eye and a small but growing client base. One photo in particular caught my attention, a close-up of her hand holding a small wildflower against the backdrop of Mount Rainier. Something about the composition gave me an idea. I texted Emma, random question, would you be up for helping me with something slightly petty but extremely satisfying? I'm listening, she replied. 2 hours later, Emma and I were at a local park with her camera. We took dozens of shots before getting the perfect one. My hand and Emma's hand together, holding a small velvet ring box that was open to reveal my grandmother's ring. The one my mother had given me at Christmas, just in case things with Tasha went that direction. It had been sitting in my sock drawer for months, a possibility I'd been considering but never quite felt right about. Now I understood why. The photo was artistic and symbolic. 2 hands holding a family heirloom that represented value and trust. I was careful with the caption, making it about new beginnings broadly rather than falsely announcing an engagement. It was about reclaiming my story, not creating a fake relationship milestone. I posted it to Instagram with the caption, "Some treasures are meant for someone who values them." Thanks for the perspective, at Emma.kwalker. New beginnings, clean slate, no more backups. I didn't tag Tasha. I didn't need to. The post gained traction quickly within our social circle, reaching about 300 likes in the first hour. Then Sam's sister, who has a popular fitness account with 50K followers, shared it to her story with a cryptic, "Tea is hot today" caption. By evening, it had reached about 2,000 likes and countless comments. Not exactly viral by influencer standards, but definitely the most attention any of my posts had ever received. By the next day, through various shares and the algorithm picking it up, the post hit 5,000 likes. Completely unexpected for someone who typically got maybe 50 to 100 likes on a post. My phone rang nonstop. First Tasha, then her friends, then even her sister, who, to be fair, had always thought I was too good for her. I let it all go to voicemail. This wasn't about creating drama. It was about reclaiming my narrative. The next day, I returned to our apartment when I knew Tasha would be at work. I packed my essentials, left my key on the kitchen counter, and wrote a simple note. "I've paid my half of June's rent. I'll arrange to get the rest of my things later. Take care." I spoke with our landlord, explaining the situation without unnecessary drama. Since both our names were on the lease, I arranged to continue paying my half through the end of the term, but formally requested to be removed from the renewal. I rented a small storage unit for my larger furniture and arranged to collect it when I found a permanent place. The aftermath was both predictable and surprising. Predictable in that Tasha oscillated between rage, remorse, and rationalization. Surprising in how quickly the dust settled. Within a week, she and Kevin were officially back together, their relationship suddenly public on all platforms. I heard through mutual friends that she was telling everyone I had cheated on her with Emma, hence the ring photo, and that she and Kevin had reconnected after the breakup as she healed from my betrayal. The irony would be delicious if it weren't so sad. But honestly, I was relieved. The clarity that comes with seeing someone's true colors is worth any temporary pain. As for Emma and me, we kept hanging out, first as friends commiserating over our shared Kevin experience, then as hiking buddies. She's serious about her trails, and eventually as something more. Turns out we have a lot in common beyond just having dated people who didn't deserve us. She's direct, honest, and refreshingly drama-free. 3 months later, we're officially dating, taking it slow and enjoying every step. The ring is safely back in its hiding spot, not for any specific plan, just waiting for the right moment with the right person, if that's where this road leads. Kevin and Tasha are apparently engaged now. That was quick. According to their very public, very performative social media posts. I genuinely wish them well. Some people are perfectly matched, just not in the way they think. Life is funny sometimes. You can spend years trying to make something work with the wrong person, only to have the right one show up when you finally let go. But that's a whole different post. For now, I'm grateful for deleted photos, petty Instagram posts, and the way truth has a habit of making itself known. One like at a time. Update. 6 months later. Since so many of you have messaged asking for an update about the ring, no, I haven't given it to Emma yet. We're doing great, but we're not rushing anything. And yes, Kevin and Tasha are still together and still relentlessly documenting their perfect relationship online. The latest drama is that they apparently got into a huge fight at their engagement party because someone mentioned me, and Kevin accused Tasha of still having feelings for me. According to mutual friends, she stormed out, he followed her to the parking lot, and they screamed at each other for 30 minutes before making a tearful return, claiming they'd never been stronger. The Instagram post about the party, of course, showed nothing but beaming smiles and hashed forever love. Emma and I watched this unfold via text updates from friends who were there, all while making s'mores in my parents' cabin, the same one from the photo that started it all. Sometimes the best revenge isn't plotting elaborate schemes or public call-outs. It's simply living well, while others remain trapped in their own drama. Oh, and for those curious, yes, Emma did eventually see the ring for real last month when we were cleaning my new apartment. I had moved the ring from its original sock drawer hiding spot to a drawer in my new bedside table. No, it wasn't some elaborate proposal setup. Yes, she pretended not to notice, but later told me she thought it was beautiful. We'll get there when we get there. No rushing and no backup plans needed. Life update. I moved into a new apartment, got promoted at work, and adopted a rescue dog named Rusty, who has destroyed exactly 1 pair of shoes, but otherwise is the perfect companion. Emma's photography business is taking off. She just booked her first wedding gig. Sometimes good things fall apart, so better things can fall together. Final thought. For anyone going through something similar, trust that gut feeling. If someone is making you feel like a backup option, you probably are. And you deserve to be someone's first choice, always.